That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And tonight we're here to talk about the Peanut Butter Falcon, the directorial debut of Tyler Nilson and Michael Schwartz. Nilson was previously known as an actor, and Schwartz was a producer-writer, and they formed Lucky Treehouse Productions. And their debut premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival earlier this year, where it won a Narrative Audience Award.
Okay.
Those are the facts.
Great. So I really like this movie. It's a really sweet story about, it's like a buddy film.
It's a buddy film. It stresses in the production notes and also in the film. Mark Twain, Adventures of Huckleberry Finn seems to be a template that it's modeled after.
I can see that. So Shia LaBeouf plays Tyler and Zack.
Yeah, Zack Gottsagen, whose character's name is also Zack. So Tyler, Shia LaBeouf's character, it's set in North Carolina. He seems to work like as a fisherman or on boats in like the swamp. I'm not very familiar with that lifestyle, but he gets into some trouble with some local fishermen because he steals some of their equipment. He's stealing their crab pods.
So there's a conflict that arises. He ends up burning their equipment to the tune of $12,000.
Yeah, John Hawkes
is one of
the men that's upset with him.
He goes on the run. Concurrently, Zack, who's living in a retirement home because he doesn't have family. He's a vulnerable adult. His character, the actor and the character, have Down syndrome. So just as a function of the system, he's in this retirement home, but he's longing to escape to visit a professional wrestling camp. Mm-hmm. He has a video cassette of a wrestler named Saltwater Redneck, played by
Thomas Hayden Church.
He's obsessed with this tape and wants to visit this wrestling camp. Mm-hmm. So he plans his escape successfully.
With the help of his roommate, played by Bruce Dern.
Yes, who's very good.
As Carl, yeah.
He escapes. He crosses paths with Shia LaBeouf's character, and they go on an adventure trying to get to this wrestling camp. Mm-hmm. Now, Dakota Johnson, mm-hmm. I thought she was Zack's social worker, but towards the end, she says she volunteers. So, but she's worked with him for 2 years, helping out at the retirement home, and she's sent to find him. Mm-hmm. And
by her potentially homosexual boss,
which was kind of fun. I did have some questions. Some things don't quite make sense, but I'm really not too focused on that because I think it's such a sweet story. And those things were necessary to kind of keep the plot moving along. So I don't mind it because I think the performances from Shia LaBeouf and Zack are so good.
Yeah.
The social worker ends up finding them 3/4 of the way through the film, or halfway through the film, and they convince her to go on this trip with them, which is kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of contrivances where things are really, lots of the beats are, the segue is sheer convenience for how things happen.
But it's okay.
Yeah, it's smoothed over by, Shia LaBeouf is very, between this and Honey Boy, which I saw at Sundance earlier this year, he plays his own father and is also a tearjerker, I'd say. And I don't know, I find his intensity and his penchant for method acting kind of welcome. And I don't know, I thought he was very compelling in this.
Yeah, he's very watchable, very likable, as was Zack.
Yeah, as was Zack. And, I usually don't care for Dakota Johnson, but she didn't take me out of it either. I thought she was fine.
Sure.
Her character is probably the least developed and least believable. But, on the way they have, these strange interactions. There's an old blind black man named Jasper.
That was a fun moment.
Who baptizes them in the river.
Yeah, that was a fun moment. The interactions with Bruce Dern in the beginning.
And Thomas Hayden Church.
So they do end up finding him, the wrestler. He no longer is teaching wrestling. The tape Zack has is quite old. But there's a really touching scene where Shia LaBeouf's character asks him if he will meet Zack. And initially he turns them away as saying, like, I no longer do that character, sorry. But then as they're leaving, kind of like deflated, he pulls up in his Firebird and
his makeup.
Or Trans Am, whatever that was. And his makeup with his music blasting. And it was just a really nice moment. This film is very uplifting.
Yeah, it has a lot of really nice moments.
He ends up showing him some wrestling moves and then gets him entered. Zack gets entered into like an actual wrestling match where people are really fighting. And that scene was...
There was a nice cut too of like Dakota's face.
It's a good scene.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's sweet. The film has everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like this.
It reminded me, as we were leaving it, of Swiss Army Man a bit.
With Daniel Radcliffe.
Which is a lot weirder, that film, and a lot less predictable. But also, this buddy male bonding... because there's like a definite streak of melancholy to this too, which Shia LaBeouf is always very good at, because it becomes revealed in flashback that he's responsible for the death of his older brother.
Right. And ultimately, I don't think in reality this story would end very well. I think.
No,
she would probably get Eleanor would probably get in trouble for allowing Zack to be essentially kidnapped because he's a vulnerable adult, and this probably won't pan out very well if we were to actually like see it through. So I think that sort of never like that ever-present notion that this is not going to end well is a nice contrast to the hope that we see in the end. So I didn't mind it. I really did like how it made me feel, and I think the two main performances are really, really good. I definitely would like to see more from both Shia and Zack. I would give this film 3.5 stars.
I would give it 3.5.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. Anything else?
No.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.